Alright, so I am back, and today I'm going to do my review for the Star Wars Force Awakens movie. So, if you haven't seen the movie yet, I'm going to try and not do any spoilers in this review. Usually I talk in depth about movies. So I'm going to try not to do that here. But I still advise you to go see it first, just in case I might give something away by accident. So yeah. And I'm gonna say, I don't necessarily think it would be necessary to go see it in like high def 3D or what have you. Regular theater style is worthwhile. Is what it's worth, and it. There's nothing in there that made me go like, man, I really wish this was in 3D. So, so yeah, there's that thought. So let's get right into it. So we've been waiting for a new Star Wars movies for a while, and everyone's been hoping that it would be a good one that would live up to the original trilogy. I think this one missed the mark. Barely, but it missed the mark. I like the movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying it's the next prequel trilogies. I have some issues with the movie. I have some things I really enjoyed about the movie. So let's talk about the enjoyment factors without trying to spoil it. What's his name? Finn. We all knew, going into it, he was a stormtrooper. Now he's, running off on his own. I like the actor playing him. I like his story arc. I thought everything about him was very enjoyable. What was the pilot's name? Poe, I think. I liked his story as well. I thought he was very enjoyable. See, the main girl, Rey, was it? Oh, I'm not very good with the names. She was also very enjoyable. I felt a little. I felt it was a little forced at time. Pardon the pun there, but I felt she was a little forced at times. But overall, her acting was pretty spot on. I like their character arcs. I like where their story arcs were going. I thought that was that was my favorite part of the movie. Aside from the special effects, because the special effects were top notch. J.J. Abrams, did an amazing job directing it. He splitting up the CGI and the practical effects was really good. I really enjoyed that. And overall, like the visual of the movie was great. The acting of everybody on the good guy side was awesome. That's what I loved about the movie. I'd honestly go see I'd go see a sequel to this movie if it was just about them. I would be in line right now. Like, all right, let's go see it. I want to see, what happens to Finn. I wanted to see what happens to Rey, and I want to see what happens with Rey's story arc and Finn's story arc. I just want to see what happens. I got invested with those characters. The problem I have with the movie, though, I think there's really 3 issues I have with the movie. Number one, the bad guys. They overall didn't seem as threatening as what we've had before, like with the original trilogy. They're in more lined up with like the Trade Federation of the prequel trilogies. So it's like they're a threat, but I don't see them being as a huge threat. I didn't get that feeling of like, okay, this is the new emperor, this is the new empire. It was just kind of like, well, they're there. They're most definitely there. Um, um, let's see. The other thing I didn't like about it. See, I'm trying to think of what my third one was. But the other thing I didn't like about it is that it did definitely feel like it's part of a trilogy. Okay, I know it's part of a trilogy. But one of the things I really liked about the original Star Wars A New Hope was the fact that while it was a good standing point for a new trilogy, it was also a solo movie. And, that you can watch and enjoy on its own. You sit there at the end of it like, okay, it's left open for sequel, but the main story arc has been completed. This has, they've told their story. It's concealed in one little bubble, and we're done. It's over. And then Empire Strikes Back, which was left with the kind of a cliffhanger, into Return of the Jedi. And that's the way they should have done this, I think. Is they're focusing too hard on world building here. I think they should have focused more on this story and not the next story. So yeah, I that was probably my biggest issue. Is just like it left a lot of stuff open, and you're just sitting there like, okay, I guess there's gonna be more, and now I have to wait for more story arcs. It just didn't feel like this one was a complete story, and that was disappointing because they could have wrapped this up to make it feel like a complete story easily, by adding a couple things and taking a few things out. And I can't really go into it too much without spoilers. So, and I guess the third thing, going back to my first point of I don't feel the threat, is the main villains just didn't seem as threatening. Like, the main Sith guy, I can't, Ren, he was, I'm trying to think of how to say it without, like, the first half of the movie, he seemed incredibly intimidating, but then the second half of the movie, he was just kind of there. I didn't feel invested in his character as much as I felt invested in the good guys. So, all in all, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I recommend it. I'm hopeful that, we're going to get more stuff with this, with this trilogy, and maybe flesh out some of this character development. But overall, I just didn't enjoy it as much as I hoped, but I didn't hate it as much as I feared. It's still better than all the prequels put together. Take everything good about the prequels, this is still better than that. But it's nowhere near a New Hope. So there you go. There's my thoughts. If you want me to do a spoiler review on it, let me know, because I do want to talk about it. But I just don't know if you guys are interested in it. And yeah, I guess that's it.